Hi guys, you are listening to the £3.30 podcast. I'm your host, Asha. Why'd you have to kill it for?
Sorry, it feels, I
Go
got
on
interrupted. And I am Reem, and also she's not our host.
And I am Sana.
Every time we do it, we're off. We listen back and we're like, bare gassed.
How is everybody?
Fantastic. How are you guys?
Fantastic, alhamdulillah. How are you, Reem?
It's cold. That's what's shocking. Sana, what's the temperature there?
Fam, the temperature right now is heavenly. It is, let me tell you. 1 minute. I will tell you. 32 degrees. No, 31 degrees. God's being kind to us today.
Love that. But it's also late, no?
Yeah, it's... What's the time? It's...
32 degrees at 9 p.m.
10, quarter to 10. 30 degrees at quarter to 10. I haven't actually been out today, so I don't know whether it's humid or not. But over the past few days, it's been like you can put your window down when you're driving and you're not dying, which is lovely.
Mad.
Right now it's about 11 degrees, gloomy. You know when the gloomy sky matches the gloomy floor.
Yeah, man.
Everything's just concrete, like for real, the concrete jungle.
Oh, wallah, I miss that.
So depressing.
I miss it. I miss it so much. Like even when when I came to the UK in the summer a few months ago, whatever, it was still a bit cold when we first arrived, and there was a bit of rain, but it wasn't that autumn feel. That's what I wanted, that winter feel.
Nah, right now there is no autumn. There's not even any. Have you seen any nice leaves?
Nah,
nothing.
So what are you getting?
When does autumn officially start?
Now.
It started, B?
No, autumn. British summertime ends on the 27th.
Oh really?
Bro, autumn started. It's fall.
It's fall.
It's actually fall.
I always think that autumn starts in August, fam, around them times. But these like the end of August, beginning of sort of September. But now, because of like all the global warming stuff,
when October hits, that's autumn.
Weird. Do you think?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Oh man, September cannot be summer, man.
September can be
pre-season. Anyway, this is bare dry. Some weather forecast. So what's been going on around the world? So I wanted to talk about what's it called? That guy that you told us about. What's his name? That
Richard
man
Huckles.
who was murdered in prison. Yeah.
That was insane.
I feel like usually I know lots about these things, and the fact that it didn't feel so mainstream, or it didn't feel like it was everywhere is really telling.
I actually hesitated to even mention it in the group chat today because I was like, Reem always comes with the facts, so I was like, she probably already knows, but it's because it happened so fresh. Like I was on a shift when I had the news alert, and then I messaged you guys, but it's an insane story. I can't believe that none of us have ever heard of it. Can
you share a bit, please?
Yeah, so what happens was this guy called Richard Huckles, I believe it was in like 2015, 2016, he took a gap year and he went to Malaysia and traveled around. He did Southeast Asia, as people say. Did. Anyway, and on that gap year, he began sexually abusing children. So from the ages of 6 months to I think it was 12 or 13 years old, which was the oldest child. He was sexually abusing them, and during the time that he was abusing them, he was keeping notes of it, and like he basically had a diary which he was sharing on the dark web. So he wasn't even trying to hide it. He was sharing it, but on the dark web, and a few years after the abuse had stopped and he had returned home and stuff, I think it was Australian police were doing some investigations on the dark web and happened to stumble on his entries, and then they alerted UK authorities, and he was locked up. But yeah, it's an insane story. Like if you hear, I watched a documentary about him today after I saw the news. So because today he was killed in prison by someone. He was stabbed in prison. So that's the only reason why I stumbled upon it. Otherwise I wouldn't have known. So then I did some Googling and I found these like documentaries.
Which is so mad because he's one of the most prolific like paedophiles in the country.
I forgot to mention,
for some reason we don't know.
I forgot to mention that he basically abused and raped more than 200 Malaysian children. More than 200. And if you hear or read,
What was the youngest Sana?
6 months old, and if you read or hear some of the entries that he put, it's like, it's so disgusting. Like, I think one of the things he said was that if I had even tried to do this in the Western world, I wouldn't last a day before I was locked up. And he was saying things like, basically, I target kids from poverty stricken areas because I can, because it's the easiest route for me to take. And he was saying things like,
trash.
what was he saying? He said something that was insane. I can't remember.
I read some of the things and I
Yeah.
was like, you know them ones where you just wish you hadn't?
Exactly.
Because it's so messed up. You just think like that is next levels. And also I'm not surprised that he was killed, because it's like,
Not at all.
let people hear about that, especially in that system where it seems so, like, obviously there's hierarchies of it. It's like you're scum if you're in for something like that.
Yeah.
If someone gets hold of that and they're already in for a very long time, they're going to be like, I'm making the world a better place.
Yeah.
And they will be praised for that.
And it's the fact that there was no remorse in what he did as well. That's what makes it even worse. The other.
So what was the documentary?
So the documentary was basically detailing all of the stuff, like his entries. They had someone reading over his entries and stuff, and I think it was a woman who went to investigate in Malaysia, because he had worked at the time as a teacher at some community church or something. So he had access to kids, and this reporter had gone to Malaysia to basically ask people of the community, leaders in the community, whether they knew anything, and every single one of them were denying the fact that they had met him, or he had access to kids, saying he didn't work here. And that's actually one of the things that he mentions in his entries. He says, the reason why it was so easy for me was because I can hide behind this taboo culture that they have here, because no one wants to talk about it, no one wants to admit it, so therefore I can just continue doing it and no one's going to say anything. Yeah, so there's absolutely no accountability whatsoever.
Disgusting.
That is mad.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I can't believe it.
Mm.
Do you know what? Do you think people knew in the prison that he
100%.
Yeah, of
that
course.
he was a paedophile, or do you think these people get protected by prison to sort of and just they get given a cover story when they go in just for their own safety, just to sort of say, listen, if I was you, I would advise you not to.
Yeah,
say
they do
while
on
you're in.
induction.
So how do people know
Really?
then?
So either because, for instance, his case might be a well-known one. So lots of people in the area might have heard of him, or someone might have said there's a new person here. And also sometimes there's officers who will share it, especially if they've done that much. They might say, this person is saying they're in for armed robbery or for whatever, but they're actually lying to you. Because what happens at induction, I mean, from my experience, at induction you get the lowdown of everything, and you're, depending on what your crime, if it's just anything, it's whatever. But if it's, so say for instance it's a high profile murder or something, you're told not to speak about it, obviously, because of things like it could affect the case. But and things could get brought up later. But if it's something like that, anything sexual assault, paedophilia in particular, but also things like violence against women, you're told to lie about things, and they encourage you to say something that matches your sentence. I don't know, you might be in for a GBH or something. What sometimes happens though is you get placed on sex offender units, and sex offenders stay together, and they still lie about what they've done, but people know that they're on that unit. So I don't know how that prison is. I think is it called Full Sutton?
I'm not sure, to be
prison.
honest.
It's up near York or something. So people would have potentially, it might have been, I don't know, officers might have let it slip, or another inmate must have found out or something. But it's I don't know, it touches people a lot, these things. It really moves people to next levels where you think you literally took advantage of this many children. It is disgusting, and unfortunately, people will take things into their own hands. Not unfortunately necessarily, but as in, they don't think the prison system's probably fair in that situation. Why should you be locked up with someone who's in for, I don't know,
But also, it's like for us, like we're like obviously like disgusted by it, and we think
Of
it's
course.
like absolutely horrible. But imagine for someone who's an actual parent. So I can imagine like if you're in that prison with someone and you've got children,
Yeah.
Right, and this is
you're-
it.
Yeah, it's like
Or
you,
it's
it's a
happened to
different sort
you.
of feeling. Yeah, it's a completely different sort of feeling. Like
100%.
you won't have it. You won't have it at all. There's no way that a person's surviving even a single day. Me and my sister started watching this TV program on Netflix called 60 Days in Prison, where it's like all sorts of different people get to stay in prison for 60 days and just experience it for whatever reason. So it might be, I want to be a correctional officer, so I want to see what it's like on the inside, or they might hire someone to go in for 60 days to try and figure out where the drugs are coming from, or like to give the company like the officers like intel, snitching and shit. Or there's this one boy that's in there, he's 19 years old, and he was like, my brother's in prison, he's been in prison for 5 years with no trial date. I want to know what his experience is like so I can have a bit more sympathy towards him, because he was like, I don't respect him anymore, like considering how much pain he's put my mum through, but I just want to know what his experience is like. And he's finding it so hard. It's like their experiences are mad. They're put in like these little like they're called pods. Yeah, it's literally just like, it's horrible. It's like a communal like sort of living where there's like different chairs and like just like bunk beds and shit, and you really got to fight for shit. Like small things mean so much to you. Like just having like a room in like or like having a bunk bed is like literally like privilege, and you got to work your way up to the hierarchy to sort of even have small things like that. There's so much like one of these guys went in there recently, and he wants to be a correctional officer. So mesquite, yeah. Walks in the thing, has no idea what he's doing, and then people start taking advantage of him because they know that he's weak. Yeah. And the reason why he showed that he's weak is because he started giving away his
Noodles.
his noodles and like his fucking like all his, what is it called, commissary.
I don't know.
Sorry, I don't know what they call it in the UK. It's canteen.
Yeah, well, he started giving so
He
any
wants to
money
watch
any
Orange
money
is
that
the
he
New
had any money that he had to spend on like things like luxuries in there, yeah, he would give it away to someone for the sake of, I can't sleep in the top bunk and I sleep in the bottom bunk.
Aww.
Or he would say like, I need protection, like, can you help me? And the guy was like, what, I'm gonna need something from you. So he's like, I thought you were my friend. And he goes, there's no friends in here, fam, the ones where it's like, so it's difficult, it's so hard, like I can just imagine like stuff like that, where even like someone was saying the other day, it was like, oh, at least you aren't child molesters, because child molesters, and I can feel the sentiment.
100%.
I know, I like, you can feel like how tense it is, where it's like, if someone knew what you were in there for, and it was something as disgusting as that, your life is completely in danger. Like it's, but I don't know. What do you lot feel about this? Do you feel like he deserves to die?
I wanted to ask you, Reem. Because
I'm against capital punishment.
Yeah, that's exactly. I wanted to ask, especially Reem, because I know how you feel about like the prison system. You're anti it, and you don't believe in it at all. But for stuff like paedophilia and child molestation, what would you suggest if there's no prison?
If there's no prison,
yeah, like what could we do? I don't know
if there's no prison.
So you agree?
It's really hard.
So you agree that pedophiles and child molesters should be put in prison?
100%. I think that the community should be protected from that. I don't think it's necessarily fair for anyone to take anyone's life, but I understand situations where people are so angry, and there's some things where it's like, you've drawn the line. Not that that's okay to molest one child, but it's like you have issues that potentially are not fixable, and if we risk having you out again, who says you're not going to do that? Do you know what I mean? Like it's like safeguarding children. I just think that there must be a smarter way for a life not to be lost. Not that I'm not saying in any way that he is good, or like I'm not justifying anything he's done in any way, but I think that we just don't have a right to take people's lives. Yeah, I just don't.
I just think
Islamically,
they gave him
I think the
easy way out.
Yeah, of course.
This is and this is what I remember when Saddam Hussein got hanged, and I was like, why would you let him go like that? Like that's not that I believe in torture or anything, but you need that time for all the privileges you had to be taken away from you, and for you to really feel something,
to suffer, basically.
Like, and I'm not one of those people that believes that prisoners shouldn't have TVs and shouldn't have showers. I think that you need your human rights. I do believe that. I'm not gonna lie, but I think that just killing someone is just, it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't solve the issue.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, this person who did it, I'm guessing that's probably something that's going to make everybody, including themselves, very happy. I remember I used to work with someone who said that he would gladly kill 10. He was like, I don't care if that's my life. Like, that to me, I'm taking away 10 scummy people off this earth. But you know, you got people like what's it called? The paedophile. I don't remember what they're called. They're like the paedophile. They're not called the paedophile brigade, yeah. But basically, it's these group of people that have taken things into their own hands. Yeah, yes, and so they've taken things into their own hands, and I respect that and I appreciate that, because I think that they obviously think that the law is not taking things seriously enough, and I agree with that. And so they set people up, basically. They dress up as, not dress up, but like they pretend that they're 15-year-old girls or like 12-year-old like boys on the internet, and then they arrange.
Was that TV show?
Yeah,
I watched that too.
Yeah, and they arrange to meet them,
and the dad comes out the kitchen like, hello.
We're calling the police, and this is what's going to happen. And so it's like, I agree with that stuff. I don't think death is always the right answer, basically. But I believe in prison system. I think it should be reformed so that people come out a little bit different. But this guy wouldn't have come out anyway. You don't just get away with doing that. Like, you deserve to have a life behind bars. Like, we need to protect the community.
But also, I feel like prisons, not from any sort of experience or anything like that, but from what people have said, where it's like, actually, it doesn't really seem to offer any rehabilitation, as in people sometimes come out of it worse, and
100%.
And they're more likely to reoffend once they do leave prison. 100%. So it's like, so where are they going wrong? But also, just going back on that conversation about the paedophile, I think anyone who's a sex offender in any capacity, whether it was children or women or whatever it is, I think they should be chemically castrated. That's just my personal opinion. Just because it's like, it's a permanent thing, chemically castrated. So they get injected with something where it suppresses all of their sexual desires completely. Like, they literally they can never get it up again. Like, because there's nothing really makes them,
I think
nothing arouses them.
A Eastern European country, yeah. I
think they absolutely deserve it, because just as much as those victims have been scarred by that for life, you need to have a constant reminder of what you've done to people. Like, so I feel like that in itself is worse, because like, I just think that's so abhorrent and so disgusting. That should be stripped away from me.
Sorry, where do they do this to them?
It's like in like some like European countries.
I think Eastern European country. I feel like I read about this.
Yeah, I remember that. I read it and I was just like, yeah. Good.
The thing about that, I understand it, but I also think that so much of these sexual assaults are less about the sexual gratification and more about power and control. And so that doesn't. It's not necessarily about how you're feeling at that time. It's that I want to be in control of this situation. Yeah. And so I don't know how much that would prevent things from happening. I understand, like, as in practically, it might put some, like, it might make it harder for things to get done. But I don't know how much. I think it's more of a mindset. Yeah, I think it's more of like a psychological mindset of power, of kind of, you're weak. And I'm strong.
I remember reading something on Twitter recently where it was like this guy was must have been posting on some sort of forum or like something like that, and he was talking about how like where it all started, him sort of preying on young girls and young women, and he was like how he approached a girl once and asked her for the time at a bus stop or something, and she was like, oh, it's this time, blah blah blah. Or he must have been like, when's the bus coming? I know what you're talking about. And then he asked her for her name, and she was like, and then she got shook. And then he goes, then she started running away from him, and he goes, then he goes, I started chasing her, and he goes, I loved it, because even her looking back to see if I was still there chasing after her, he goes, that got me so excited. And he was like, I really, really enjoyed that. So he goes, it's not,
he never did anything. It was just the adrenaline.
It was just the adrenaline of making someone feel scared.
Yeah. It's power.
But it gets him hard. Like, you know, the ones where it's like he enjoys it. It's sexual. You know, like how people say I'm a pansexual, where like, oh, I really like, or like, not pansexual, what's the word? You know, when people are attracted to like intelligence.
Sapiosexual.
Yeah, did I say pansexual? Yeah. Mad. Or someone says that they're sapiosexual, where it's like there are so many things where it's just like, I think that's part of it. Maybe it's like it's a sexual orientation that just it's just mad, where it's like you're attracted to power.
What is
power, like having that power sort of thing that makes you like arouse your sexual desires?
I think it's less about being a sexual orientation. I think it's more about
Because
someone
that's
being
not
messed up.
that's not taught, man.
No,
So
I
that's not taught.
I agree with you that it's not taught.
'Cause
100.
I think some people are just born to be like actual scummy, evil, disgusting people. Like this, it's just how they are. Like there's
Yeah, I
nothing you can
disagree.
do. So you know, like how when
Yeah.
you see kids, yeah, you know how when you see. Here's an example. Yeah, I remember my RE teacher telling me this. They were like, "There's a difference between someone killing a spider with a slipper, yeah, and then someone pinning a spider down and ripping out its legs. There's
Yeah.
a difference, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the early, you know, the early signs of just a complete psychopath.
Yeah.
Like, you can just tell from
It's
early
cruelty to animals.
You know the
yeah.
ones where it's like you can just tell, you can just clock this one when they're older, they're gonna be a psychopath. So that's why I feel
Yeah.
like some people are just born like that. But you don't agree, do you?
No. Bro, when my dad was in Iraq, yeah. Let me not.
Cut this out.
Cut it out. But no, like people do, there's different things that mean different things to people. For instance, I don't know, like in Islamic countries, we don't kill spiders, innit? We're like, no, we protect a spider, innit?
Yeah,
Everyone
I
knows to
do.
protect a spider.
Yeah.
But 100%.
Sometimes you got
sorry,
to.
sorry, Shanna. But like the majority of the time, you protect a spider. Lots of people, like in the UK, for instance, cats and dogs are seen as more than babies. You know them ones, yeah? Back home in Iraq, cats are hungry and wild, yeah? Little kids might find it exciting to like pull a cat's tail.
Very exciting.
But it's
Yeah.
not that I'm justifying it in the slightest, but I think there are different cultural values and norms, and I think in the West there is this real thing about animal cruelty leading to kind of being a psychopath, and I understand it to some degree, but I think it's just very black and white. I think that I think it shows a thing about control 100%, because it's like at that point you want to feel like you're overpowering someone, but I don't think it's necessarily like, okay, they once pulled a cat's tail, therefore they're going to be whatever.
Yeah, but that again, like it's different. In it, pulling a cat's tail, it's on a different level to actually torturing an animal like that, or like a bug or whatever it is. It's just different.
No,
fam.
like
All
when you were
different
younger,
fucked up
what,
shit.
you never poured salt on a slug?
Nah, never.
Nah, what?
That used to make me cry, you know. I used to be
Reem?
such a miskeen, wallah. When other kids used to do Reem is so evil. I'm shook of Reem right now.
I never did it because I found it nasty, yeah, but my brother did.
That
He's
shit used to
right.
make me cry.
That's-
That used to make me, you
that's
know, like even like
disgusting.
when I see a snail on the road, I do my absolute best to make sure. You know how, because obviously now it's raining in it, yeah, and sometimes I'm just walking ahead. I'm like, oh shit, it makes me feel so bad, but I carry on walking. But when I was younger, it was like, it would actually hurt my feelings if I was to kill any sort of animal or any sort of bug. It would literally make me cry. Like I was that
Aw.
mesquite. Bless me.
Yeah, well, I wasn't. Me and my brother weren't. We used to go into the back garden, pick up snails, and dash them. but it was genuine. Like it wasn't. It. Now, obviously, I think it's horrendous, and I'm like, why would I do that? But at that time, I wasn't like, yeah, I'm about to book shit up. Like I'm about to catch vulnerable people and make people scared. Like,
But how many people do that though? That's common. That's a common thing that young people do. That's like picking up acorns.
it?
And it is a common thing that a lot of people did that. But it's like the things that people don't necessarily do. That's the stuff that you need to look out for.
Bruv, Sana, did you ever hear about the Croydon cat killer?
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
Hundreds of cats.
People,
That's weird.
Well, people are saying it's a fox. It's not actually a human
I'm
being.
dead.
People
All
are
this
saying
time.
it's a fox. Apparently, yeah.
one bolo fox.
Hella
What?
cats just gone. It's dead.
When did that
It's
happen?
Nah, I don't think it's a fox. Sorry.
It's
I think
been
it's happened
recent.
over. Is it Croydon or Catford?
Yeah, it's Croydon.
Or am I saying Catford because it's cat?
It's over the last sort of like year or two.
Oh shit!
Longer.
Do you think?
Yes. Yeah, it's been going on for time.
Hold on,
Weird.
it's
But yeah, so
ongoing.
I
It's
don't
still
know.
going on now.
I think so. I don't think they found the killer.
Trust me, it's a fox, man. It must be a fox. You know, a fox
Yeah, but-
killed my rabbit once when I was younger.
Yeah, and you buried it in your garden.
In
No, but listen, how are these cats getting killed though?
I think they were like getting their heads chopped off or tails chopped off or something really,
Obviously, it's
really
not
weird.
a fox then, innit?
Let me research it a little bit. Yeah, it was definitely like calculated. I think from what I read, it was calculated. What was it called? Croydon cat killer. Very, very random. And it's so mean. An alleged individual thought to have killed, dismembered and decapitated more than 400 cats and
Wow,
various other animals across England beginning in 2014 in Croydon.
that's mad.
It's been around for 3 years.
That's actually
The
insane.
police have now closed the case due to lack of evidence. Mad. So then people signed a petition.
Yeah, they were saying, however, in 2018, the Metropolitan Police concluded that mutilations had not been carried out by a human and were likely caused by wildlife predation, is that the word? Or scavenging on cats killed in vehicle collisions. I don't know, bruv.
But it's all in one area. Come on.
Oh my God, the police spent over £130,000 and 2,250.
They're spending too much money looking for this fucking killer, fam. It's the fox.
Yeah. But there was just lots of cat mutilation. Anyway,
did you guys see this thing on Twitter today? A uni, yeah. Listen to this. A uni. I think it's in. I don't know where this uni is, but anyway, there's a uni somewhere in Europe, yeah, that has offered people the chance to experience what it feels like to be in a grave. Did you see this on Twitter?
To be in a grave.
To be in a grave. So
to be in a grave.
To be in a grave, yeah. So what they've done is they've dug up a grave, and they give you between 30 minutes to 3 hours to basically just sit in the grave and think about your life as a way of therapy.
Nah, I'm alright.
I'll pass.
Bruv, I'll experience a grave when I'm dead.
When
innit?
it's time.
When it's time.
That's mad. Would you ever do that, Sino?
Sana would. She's look
She's
at
like
her.
I don't know.
like little hippie.
It's called. Hold on, look. It's called the purification grave, and you're not allowed to take phones or books in it with you. And there's images of
Bruv,
people just chilling in this
bang
grave.
to the cat, man, and that's it.
It's actually mad.
I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit. Do you have to pay?
Nah. But you
Is
have
it
to
free?
stay. You have to stay. Imagine paying to do that. No, but you have to stay for 30 minutes minimum. I don't understand how this would be therapeutic to anyone. Why are you telling me like I'm signed up for it?
But listen, deep it, yeah. It's a grave, yeah, that bare man have been in already before you for 30 minutes to 60 minutes, bare hot breath. And there's you inhaling all that. Nah, dead that. What if
No,
you fart?
it's
long,
fam,
man. It's so long.
it's an open grave. They don't actually lock you in there. You know, they don't bury you. It's just an open grave. Like it's a
Oh,
dug
so you
out
just lay in a
It's open.
casket. Bruv, go
No.
to the beach.
Fam, let
Go
me
to
send
the
it to you 'cause
beach.
you lot annoy me.
Dig up a little thing. Huh?
I'll send it to the group chat so you can see it.
Isn't that like the thing that we once spoke about from a podcast I think you listened to, Sana?
What was it?
That monks or something do
the
it.
monk
Or was it
monk
you?
thing.
So dumb.
Oh, I mean, I guess it could be a little bit relaxing, but to me it just looks like,
Man said relaxing.
if I'm being honest, it looks a little bit like if you're just chilling in the park laying down on your back.
In a grave
What is
though.
that? Sana, what is that thing that you're eating?
Cinnabon.
Is that a cinnamon swirl?
It is indeed.
So evil.
It's very exciting. Very, very exciting.
Anyway, so that was a weird little situation.
Oh, did you guys see the thing about the little 8-year-old black kid? Let me show you.
No,
Hold
what?
on.
Sana's on it, fam. Go on.
So this little kid, yeah, he's 8 years old. It's from the Metro. Okay, this is the headline. Boy scratched white lines into his skin after children called him the N-word. A schoolboy subjected to repeated racist attacks would go days without moisturizing his skin so it would go dry and dusty and appear lighter. Sullivan admitted he would also scratch white lines into his skin in a bid to appear whiter. He has been repeatedly called the N-word by bullies and said people touch my hair without asking to. The abuse has become so bad that his mum, Colleen, said when her son goes outside he stares at the floor in fear of being abused.
Oh my God, that is heartbreaking. Where is that?
Somewhere in the UK, in Cornwall.
Oh.
Cornwall.
He's so cute.
He is so cute.
It's so sad.
Where?
Cornwall.
Cornwall.
Yeah. The first time it happened, I was in year one. A kid called me stupid
He was
African and hit
scratching
me.
his face to make it appear whiter.
Yeah.
I thought he was. You know, them was where when I was younger. Yeah, me and my siblings used to draw shit on our legs and shit. Yeah, whenever you used to like not moisturize. That's what I thought it was. I was bare like
Yeah, but
almost
he was-
creasing, but he was doing it because
He
he
Yeah,
wanted
wanted
yeah,
to
his
be like,
face. He would not moisturize.
Yeah, this
is-
he
scratch
look,
it.
this is
That
what he
is
says.
so sad.
Sometimes I feel sad and angry. I stopped moisturizing so my skin would go dry and dusty and I'd look lighter for school. I scratched white lines into my skin to try and look whiter. It just makes me feel sad and angry.
And so disgusting.
We need to get him a house in London.
For real.
See, all these places out of London are just, even London's dusty, yeah, and London's racist, but Cornwall, that's where Lucy's from.
Bruv, do you know what it is? Yeah. This
hell.
kid's mixed race.
Yeah.
This kid's mixed race. Yeah. And he's got adults making monkey noises at him. It's not just
Adults.
It's the adults. Yeah. The mum was like, how there's adults making monkey noises at him as well. So it's not just the playground.
Yeah.
It's literally just
but that's where kids learn it from.
So this is what I've always said, yeah, where it's like, you know, mixed race kids.
Yeah.
They will always be considered to be black, always, because white people will never take them in as their own, because you'll always be considered to be black. It must be so hard, wallahi. Like, even recently I read it must be so hard for them where white people consider them to be black, yeah, and then there was an article that was written recently by Ingrazia where this mixed race girl was talking about how she feels really excluded from Black History Month because she's mixed race. So it's like, how difficult is that to where do you sort of fit in? Where exactly? Who like, imagine she's an adult feeling this way. Imagine a young child who is just starting to figure out who they are, developing a personality, trying to understand themselves, trying to establish some sort of identity in this dunya, yeah. And they're getting, and to the point where they're now having to change themselves to be able to fit in. That's disgusting. Not only are the school at fault for not doing enough, not doing enough to stem that. There should be like lessons and shit where people learn stuff like this. You know, like where it's like, there's so much that. Why is it in 2019, which is, I'm not taking away from it, I'm not saying that it's not important to learn, but sex education has become such a huge debate now in schools where more and more young children are learning about gender and identity and sex and all the rest of it, and how multifaceted it is. It's not like how when we were growing up it was just very black and white. I think just as much energy is being put into that, there should be so much more energy being put into understanding like knife crime and shit, yeah, but also like race and like learning what's wrong and what's right, because this is when kids are really going to establish their views in life, yeah, because they're getting fed bullshit from their parents or whoever it is that is their guardian, whoever's looking after them, and if the school aren't doing enough for it, this shit will go on. I was the only black kid in my primary school until another kid came in. I know how that feels to be like, literally, like you don't actually know who you are or where to place yourself, or you're being made to feel like your identity should be changed or whatever it is. Luckily I ended up going to another school where it was like majority Asians and Somalis in the end. So I feel like I was so much more comfortable there. And then like after, like it was just much more diverse. But when I first started going to school, like I was literally the only black kid in every single primary school that I'd been to, and I've been to quite a few. So this is disgusting. I never experienced this bullshit, and if I did experience it, the teachers would be on it like that. Like it was they were so militant with it. So it's, I just feel so bad for this kid, literally, to change yourself and to feel like you can't even put fucking moisturizer on your face because you want to be lighter. Like, what is that? What are we teaching our kids for real? What are we actually teaching our kids?
I can't really imagine an 8-year-old thinking that.
It's scary, isn't it? I feel like these areas that are not diverse in the slightest are so dangerous because you see how like London schools, for instance, like my school was really diverse, and so there was always something going on. Like we'd always have International Day, and we'd always have something for Eid, something for Ramadan, something for Diwali, something for Yom Kippur, like literally everything, for every race, every religion, like everything would be celebrated. But that was because it was like kind of really inner city London. And I think because you were like forced to have that inclusion and that diversity, it was like, let's focus on this. But when you're living out these areas, you realize just how much is missing from just kind of standard
don't they like celebrate those days at schools outside of London? I'm sure they do. Isn't it like part of the curriculum or something? I'm sure
outside of London, yeah. I mean, no, I'm talking about like places like Cornwall where there's not really a population of anyone other than really white. Like
they wouldn't teach any of that stuff in a school in Cornwall.
I think they would teach things like RE in the curriculum, but that's like in maybe secondary school when there's something part of the curriculum. I think that you'd probably do. But I don't know. I'm not a teacher, but I just feel like there's something about the more people you have in the school that are from that particular faith or that particular race, the kind of bigger a deal it is.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like in our school, Ramadan and Black History Month were the most popping times.
Yeah.
The most popping months of the year, because it was like that was a majority what my school was, and we would always make noise about it. Like Ramadan, we'd be like, no, it's not. You know, like. I don't know, it was just different. Whereas if you go to a different school, it loses its touch. If you're just getting taught something, it's like about that mixing and about having about that inclusivity, really. And I think that's the thing, that you learn it from like working with people and you know, like when those TV programs about the mixing cultures, and they're like, yeah, I never knew Pakistani food was actually nice, or you know what I mean. It's like you really see how unintentionally ignorant people are to different cultures.
Do you know, she was interviewed, this white lady was interviewed outside,
exactly,
and she goes, so what do you think? She goes, do you know what, I thought it would be like, it smell like Muslims, innit? But she genuinely enjoyed herself after. Like this is the thing, we need to mix communities, man. That's the solution, honestly. Like,
but it's hard when places like London, you got a young person there, a child even, who is mixed race, who has no place in that school because of the fact that it's so overwhelming for them to know that there's someone who's a little bit different. That's frightening. It's really scary. I feel like in a lot of ways, like even if we look at London back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, Rob, Stephen Lawrence's killing was not that long ago.
Yeah.
Damilola Taylor was not that long ago. It's mad. Oh, sorry.
Those out of London areas are
dickheads.
People shouldn't what?
People shouldn't be allowed to be parents. You know, like dickhead parents. Shouldn't be able to have children, man.
Chemically castrate them as
chemically
well, yeah?
castrate all the racists and stuff. They should all be chemically castrated.
EDL, I'll catch you at your march.
All of them.
I know what the title for this podcast is already.
Don't know. We don't recommend
What's
that you guys do that.
I said I know what the title for this podcast is.
Castrate them.
Racists should be castrated.
God.
Listen, have you?
Reem just said she goes go to the EDL march and inject all of them.
No, I never said. Why? Catch him slipping. What? Tommy Robinson?
You know the ones that you go like, oh, sorry, mate.
Let's just check your blood glucose level.
No, but listen, you know when I was younger, and I'm lying. Sometimes now as well, yeah. When I go out of London and go into like these really, really predominantly white areas, I find myself. And this is like something that I do subconsciously. I find myself being extra polite to white people there.
Yeah.
Just so they don't feel like, oh, this.
Hello, good day.
Yeah, like, you know that smile that you give them for no reason. Even though in London I would just walk straight past you. But when I go to these areas, I feel like I just have to make an extra effort to be nice. I think that's wild.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I think
You don't do it.
I do the most. I do the absolute most. Like even when we first moved to where we live now, I barely even used to talk to my neighbours. The other ones where, because we were literally the only black family that moved there. I don't know. I don't think I've put so much thought into it. But I think there are definitely certain scenarios and situations where
I feel like you don't really leave London.
What would you say? What?
So funny.
Sorry, but it's true. What was the last? Robbie, you go Sheffield, and that's it. Like,
no, I've been at some of them, but I don't know. But listen, even where I live, fam, allow it. Oh God, fam. Reem literally lives like 2 seconds away from me, but she thinks she's so cultured.
No, I'm saying like Rob, where have you been out of London other than Sheffield?
Okay, so firstly, Sana, I don't even know why you're crackling me, Sana. That's number one, yeah. It's like as if me and you didn't get to go climb Mount Snowdon in the whitest area of the whitest bits, yeah. And I was calm. The thing is, yeah, I can get along with anybody that's not. But why are you laughing?
What's real with the music group?
I actually understand. No, I'm getting vexed. I've been at London, fam. No. I'm actually calm. I think I'm the opposite. Maybe it's just because it's like people that I see on a regular basis, i.e., like places where I work and shit. I think sometimes I put a guard up because I just don't want to.
Fam, when you go into your office, you're basically outside of London.
Too comfortable.
For real.
Basically
in Gloucestershire. I hear that though. It's like, I'm not going to overcompensate for your ignorance. Like,
or I'm not going to make you feel. I don't want to make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to, you know, the ones where it's like, I need to do the most to make you feel comfortable because you're uncomfortable with my blackness.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. No, it would never happen. You know, like when people like cry and shit. I remember there was one person that cried in front of me because they made a racist comment and they had to apologize to me. And it was in a work setting.
And they cried to you.
And then they cried.
So hold on. Imagine the cheek, yeah?
The nerve. You know, that was like, are you a fucking victim? I don't understand.
You racially disrespected me and now you're crying.
And now as if to make me feel like, oh, poor thing, like, oh, she's really fuck. I looked at her as if like literally there was no emotion whatsoever. Like, I just looked at her like, you're an actual fool. This is what they do. You know, the ones where it's like, this is what they do. Like, you know,
Crocodile
when it's like
tears.
what I think there was like I can't remember what the actual term is, but someone wrote about white women tears.
Yeah.
And I think it was a BuzzFeed article or something like that, where somebody was basically calling it out, where it's like even that shit the other day, what was it, where Erin, what's her name?
Oh God,
explain it,
oh.
Reem, explain it. I'm tired
Erin
of
Bedina.
it. I'm fucking tired of it.
I don't know what there is to explain. I just want to quickly say though, before we get on to Erin Bedina, I don't wear hijab, yeah. I feel like when I go to places outside of London, like I have to drive a lot for work, and like my young people could be anywhere. I remember going to a service station in Faversham, and I just thought it was calm. Like, in my head, I'm just a little bit tanned, yeah. I've got 1-2 curls. Like,
meanwhile,
I got thin lips too, and a straight nose. I'm like, don't be so shocked to see me. Like, I'm not that. Like, look at. Do you know what I mean?
You are quite tan though, to be fair. I think
well, you're not tan.
Yeah, they're not that colour. No, but this is what I mean. Like, to them, I am, innit? So I always get a little bit shocked because I'm like, I don't wear a hijab. Like, you can't really tell where I'm from. So what are you looking at? Like, not that it justifies it, but I remember being in the service station and literally everyone in Costa stopped and looked at me, and I was like, what? Like, can I help you?
Yeah,
I just remember being
mad.
so confused because in my head, I'm literally like, I don't see that there's that much difference. Not that I'm like, yeah, but I'm just saying it just confused me because I was like, you literally stopped and instead, like, anyone who looks slightly different is like literally stop and stared, and I was like, this is very weird.
Sometimes when white people look at me, I'm not sure if they're like scared of me or like they're racist or because they fancy me. It's a bit of a weird one. It's such a weird one.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to figure out
that you're pretty or
what.
You know, like when you're out and about, like because sometimes I do. Sometimes I look at someone, I'm like, oh my gosh, that girl's so pretty. Like, so I might look at them for a bit. I'm like, oh my goch, she's so pretty. Or I might even go up to them and be like, you're so pretty. Oh my
Maybe
God,
the whole of Costa, yeah, the whole of Costa, from child to old person, turned and looked at me, and I was like,
it's
but
confusing.
I think it's kind of obvious I'm not from those areas, isn't it? I remember once I was at Carnival and there was this beautiful Somali girl, yeah, mashallah, beautiful. I looked at her, she goes, don't look at me, and I was like, do you know what?
Anyway.
I literally wanted to say, I was about to say you're buff, but now bun you, ugly person. I got so annoyed. I was literally looking at her thinking, I was literally looking at her thinking, like, literally, mashallah, so piff.
She probably had a guard up.
I was like,
You know the ones where you just shook?
I just want to tell you look nice, my
Yeah.
sister.
Aww.
Just automatic. It's just, but I get that. You know, someone's bare looking, what the fuck are you looking at? It annoys me. Even when I'm doing my hijab, yeah. And
I think I even smiled at her.
when I have to rearrange my scarf in public, it's long because, you know, everyone's bare like trying to look at you like on the sly, like side eyeing and shit, trying not to look at you, but at the same time they're still looking at you. That's even more annoying. I'd rather.
Why is that
just stare at them,
annoying,
like,
man?
Like, oh, I like
People
the way
are
that you
just
did your scarf.
People are just looking. Why is that
it's-
annoying?
No, because it's like you're making me feel uncomfortable. Do you get
But
it? Like,
why
you
is
actually
it-
make me
no.
feel so uncomfortable by
But the
by you being shook.
the question is,
By you
why
being
do
shook, it
you
makes
feel
me
uncomfortable?
Because here's the thing though, Sana, yeah, nobody ever wants to be made to feel as if they're a threat or as if they're an outsider or anything like that, yeah, just purely based off of you've judged me just on like on like how I look, and that's it. Nobody ever wants that, so it is jarring.
All right, but
like if I'm out and about and someone's bare staring at you, of course it's jarring. Of course, it's
no.
annoying.
I'm saying like specifically when you mention now if you're doing your hijab or whatever, and people are looking at you, why is that a big deal? I just think
feel like
because
it's about
they're so
fascination.
No, but it's like because you're so uncomfortable, yeah. Because you're making it. This is what I was saying. Yeah, I would rather if you just looked at me and were like, I really like the way that you did your scarf. Just address it. Why do you have to feel like make me feel like I need to do my scarf even quicker? You know, sometimes I'll just do my scarf. Really, we can just tuck it in.
Maybe
quickly.
they're just curious.
And I look so crap because I don't feel comfortable. Like it's like I'm just doing my scarf like raw, like. Beg you, like, just either you look at me or you don't, and then that's it. Don't do this whole side eye and shit, and then when I catch your eye, you look away for it. It's boring. It makes me feel like you're looking at me like I'm some sort of zoo animal. Like, it's annoying. It's so annoying.
I think you're thinking way too deep
maybe
into
it's
it.
because maybe it's because me personally, I don't really look at people. So that's maybe it's just even more annoying for me. Maybe maybe it's just my personality. When I'm out and about, I suppose someone could be doing the absolute most. I will not look at you at all, just because I'm minding my own fucking business. That's probably why I want everybody else to do it. But at the same time, it is annoying, Sana. You can't deny that. I think you're just very.
I don't think it's annoying at all.
Can I just say something? Sorry, Sana. I know you've been trying to say something for the last 20 minutes.
No, it's fine.
But I've never seen Sana fix her hijab. How'd you get on so tight? Shumbuck's is always falling off, but yours just, I've never seen you like move it. When have you ever seen her fix it up?
I staple it to my head.
I've never.
That's true, you know. I don't think I've
Bro,
done it.
I just clocked how
She goes, I staple it to my head.
I actually haven't clocked. Like Shumbucks, we'll just be chilling and suddenly it'll be down her head. And she'll be like,
We'll just be chilling. It'll go. I can just feel it.
Just pops open.
but Sana's like every time Shumbuck gets in my car, she has to adjust. But Sana literally, oh my god, sorry, I just clocked it.
It's a skill, mate.
Yeah, it's just jarring, fam.
Listen,
I
Reem,
want you, Sana, yeah, when you come to London, inshallah,
Yeah.
I want you to get on the Central Line
yeah.
at rush hour.
I wrap
You
your
think
hijab.
you think I haven't done that?
Fix your hijab.
Oh, try and fix my hijab.
Yeah, I want you to try and fix your scarf.
Hold on.
I'm going to undo it for you, and then you're going to try and fix it. As if you won't lick someone's armpit in the process.
I'm
Ew.
so done.
Why is that why you're fixing your hijab in the middle of a Central Line on a rush hour?
I like it.
No wonder people are watching you, fam.
No wonder people what? They love it.
People are watching you.
Because I'm licking armpits. What is you guys, really quickly, what is the one fetish I think you guys could never ever accept ever? It would just be like, nah.
Sorry, I'm not having this
Anything to
conversation.
do with
Shit.
with poo or wee. Yeah.
Ew.
Or, yeah, that's all long.
Uh.
What about you, Sina? Why are you? I'm not having this conversation.
No, I'm not sorry.
Just one thing. You're not saying what you're interested in.
Sana's literally a 12-year-old. Why would she?
No, I'm not having a conversation.
Oh my god, Mish said penis. Who?
No, listen. I just think that there's some conversations need to stay private in the group chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no one's asking about your personal experiences, Act.
You just need to say what you won't be into. Shit and wee, straight.
Yeah, that's the one.
Unless that's what you're into.
Hey.
You need. I'm kind. You know I'm editing this, right?
Yeah.
Sana's cutting it all out. It'll be like a 10 minutes podcast.
I'm so done.
Listen, Reem, I have a question for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
First question is.
Okay, I'll just sit here and I'll just listen then.
Yeah, you can
okay,
stop
cool.
talking. Go on, Sana.
So first question is, you're not vegan anymore, right? Yeah, you're not full vegan.
No.
Okay. So the second question is, when you were fully vegan, yeah, if me or Shams had like as a joke or as a prank given you some meat to eat without you realizing, yeah, what would you have done?
Interesting. I probably would have been able to tell that there was meat because I've got a really I've got very sensitive taste buds. Yeah.
Okay.
But I would also be like, why? Like I'd probably be quite upset. I'd be like, why would you do that? That's like, I don't know. Like, if I don't know, it's like someone giving you a bit of bacon in your sandwich.
Yeah.
Like,
So
that's rude.
so the reason
Just tell her.
reason why I'm asking you is because I saw this thing there was this panel called The View. I don't know if you guys have seen it. But they tweeted something
someone's
saying
trying to act.
She's trying to what?
Just tell her. Anyway.
Sana, you missed a good opportunity just now. You always one.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I missed that joke. So on the panel they were discussing this because some woman, yeah, who has been a vegan for 10 years called the police on her friends who fooled her into eating chicken as a prank. So the question was, did she overreact?
Wait, she got 10 years.
Is she a gore?
A woman who has been vegan for 10 years called the police on her friends who fooled her into eating chicken as a prank. Did she overreact?
I would never call the police if my friends put...
Imagine she called the police on us.
I think there's just other ways to deal with things. Like, why would you call the police? I don't know.
Maybe it was getting physical. Maybe it was temperature. Temperatures, you know. Also called tempers.
Maybe she saw it as like a hate crime. You know how some vegans see it like religiously, like how we see pig.
Yeah, exactly. So someone tweeted back saying, "You wouldn't trick your friend with a nut allergy into eating nuts." I don't agree with that. It's not the same. And she also said, "You wouldn't trick your Jewish friend into eating pork. Why is it funny to trick someone into eating meat who is morally against it?"
That is upsetting though, because you don't know why she's vegan.
Yeah.
It might not be like a health thing. It might just be because she genuinely just doesn't want anything to do with like animals.
I think that's mean.
That is very mean. That's not nice at all.
I wouldn't call the police, but I would definitely be pissed off.
But also get some new friends, fam.
For real. Yeah, you need to check your friends if they think that's a nice prank.
For real.
That's very rude.
But they're YouTubers.
I'm asking, what did they do? What did she do to her friends for her friends to do that to her?
No, I think they were just
being a vegan. That triggers so many people. Listen, when I was vegan, the way so many people would get triggered, like I was telling them, don't eat meat. I didn't care. I didn't care, but I was just like, whatever. But literally, so many people were like, yeah, and what? You need B12. You need... Bro, listen, if I'm going to die from being malnourished, just let me die, innit? When I want your opinion, I'll ask for it.
Do you know people say, oh, vegans only eat grass and shit, yeah? Like as a joke, hey, look, you eat grass, blah, blah.
The deadest joke ever.
So I read somewhere, yeah, that actually...
They do.
That you know how people think, oh, we get calcium from cow's milk, yeah, but actually cows get it from grass. It's like calcium is plant-based. I never knew calcium was plant-based. Like it's something that you can find in anything. Yeah,
and also cow's milk is full of pus.
Yeah, so technically...
Sorry. Yeah, I think I'm slowly coming off cow's milk.
I got home and saw with milk.
Yeah, it's nasty. And also, apparently, we can't really absorb the calcium in that, in cow's milk. Shumbuck's actually so done. I'm sorry, but listen. Boy. These times I was... This is why that girl's friend tricked her with a chicken burger.
Watch out, Reem.
Someone's going to come to my house tomorrow with some ham.
Watch, fam, honestly. I feel so disgusted. Cow's milk has pus in it.
Yeah.
You're lying.
No, why would I lie? Get organic milk. Get organic milk. But I still think that has pus in it.
Have you not seen it before they filter it?
Sorry. She's really going to be sick. Okay, let me just get the facts. She's actually so done.
Shams. You okay?
I just like milk so much.
I love milk, but you know, it's unfortunate. But listen, have you never seen it before it's filtered?
No, I can't read this to you.
I don't want you to, please.
Now read it.
No, I'm actually going to be sick. Please, I beg you don't.
Do it.
Sam, you can read that in your own time, fam. In your own
No. I feel like our audience wants to hear it. Go on.
No one wants to know, fam. Cow's milk does not have pus in it.
It has pus and it has blood.
Someone said actually...
Alhamdulillah. What is it? Go on.
It says no, milk doesn't contain pus.
Alhamdulillah.
Milk from healthy animals contains cells called somatic cells. But
I knew it.
If the milk has a higher somatic cell count, it's a sign of the cow's fighting an infection. I genuinely don't think that. I actually think that there is a lot going on. It's got a liter can have up to 400 million somatic cells, which are pus cells.
Wow.
Before it is considered unfit.
So what did the Sahabas and the Prophets and that? What did they used to drink?
Camel's milk.
It's like a sunnah, isn't it, to drink milk?
Babe,
and dates and
this
shit.
is a completely different time.
So I'm drinking only.
Find organic. Yeah, find organic. Calm.
I'm only drinking organic. I actually feel sick.
Sorry.
Why? What's the difference between organic and normal?
Yeah, at one point, my mum, the animal has been fed differently.
Oh.
What's it called? At one point, yeah, my mum, she used to...
No, there's nothing that's in it. There's no, like, extra shit, you know? Like,
they get injected and shit. Yeah. Basically, my mum used to get milk delivered to our house from the farm. Like, fresh milk.
Rate that.
Yeah. Do you know how disgusting it was? Because she'd make something, yeah, and we used to love it, low-key, but she'd make something, but you can see, like, a little ring of fat on top of your tea. So mum never used to make it for like tea and stuff, but she'd put it in our porridge and stuff like that. Like we used to love that shit. Mum used to just think it was the best thing for us. But then she found out that obviously like animals get injected with shit. She was like, nah, dead that. So she started buying organic stuff, and now she doesn't drink milk at all. She just drinks almond milk, and like occasionally she'll have milk where it's like every now and again, but she doesn't really she doesn't really go for milk like that.
Ask your mum why.
I just can't get myself into almond and coconut.
She says milk F's her up.
I can't get myself to like coconut and almond and all of that stuff.
Same. Coconut. I tried to put coconut milk in my tea once. Yeah, biggest mistake of life.
Nah, don't do that.
Chuck it away.
With tea, have soya milk in it with it or
soya
oat milk.
is
Don't, babe, don't do it. It's all disgusting. Just don't have
It's
milk
all
in your tea.
disgusting.
I'd rather that.
All
I'd rather
that,
have black tea.
Yeah.
Just have black tea. Don't force it to put almond milk in your tea. It's clapped. It's so disgusting. Clapped. I'll put almond milk in my cereal. I think I got used to that and I started liking that. But
do you eat cereal?
yeah. What?
Do you use
my
that?
6-year-old or something? Are you surprised by that?
Do you
Of course
eat
we
cereal,
do.
Sana?
Yeah. Well, me and Fetch have cereal at like 3
every
a.m.
morning.
No. No, not every
Reem's
morning.
an adult fam. She has avocado on toast. No, avocado on a bagel. Last time I came here, she made some adult spread for breakfast. If you come to my house, Reem, you know you're gonna give you Cheerios.
No. First of all,
Reem's gonna get Weetabix
I don't have cereal as like a breakfast.
as a snack.
Yeah, I have it as a snack, as like a filler. If I'm super hungry and not bothered to do anything.
She keeps moving this headphone. Oh wow, I don't eat cereal. I don't remember the last time I had cereal. We don't buy cereal in my house anyway. But anyway, whatever.
We love it. Mum used to get crunchy nut. Crunchy nut used to be
When
my
I was
thing,
young,
man.
no, do you know what? When I was younger, the cinnamon one, which you said you got from America, amazing. And I used to get the little 6-pack or 8-pack of different cereals.
Oh
Do you know
yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah.
did?
Used to be
I
different.
put bare milk in my cereal. Yeah. So once I finish my cereal, I drink
You
the
add it
juice.
up.
I drink the milk.
Oh yeah,
No, I
straight.
drink the
I
milk.
love drinking the milk.
Milkshake, fam. It's so nice.
It's sick,
It's literally
yeah.
so disgusting for our listeners. I'm so sorry.
Innit? When I was younger, I used to have full fat Cravendale milk with my cereal. I used to have Cocoa Pops every morning.
Oh, I love
Every
Cocoa
single
Pops.
morning, I would wake up with
Nesquik
a
is the
sore
one
throat.
though.
For time, I
Nesquik.
didn't understand that I had a little bit of an intolerance. I used to wake up with a sore throat every single day without a doubt.
You have
And I would still
you have
go ham
milk
with the Cravendale.
intolerance to milk.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are you surprised? Because she's not black.
What?
Black people don't
Where's
be
the link,
lactose
please?
intolerant.
Wow.
Why are you so surprised?
Why do you have to bring race into
like,
every
eh?
single? Well, no. I was like, I know.
I didn't know that is that for real?
Yeah, a lot. You know how like there's different cultures have different problems because of what they eat and stuff like that. Black people tend to be lactose intolerant.
What's a Yemeni problem? What's an Arab problem?
Maybe heart disease.
Fucking high cholesterol. Stress from all the wars, bruv. What is going on?
No, listen, she's just taking it out my headphones. My headphones, fam.
Why are you not fighting?
Bruv, there you go.
Stupid, fam.
The phone is like under her batty doing some sort of cartwheel. She keeps pulling it out.
Anyways,
Do.
All right.
tell
well,
us
it's
about
been
the
fun.
Erin Bodina. Do you know whatever it is?
Oh, Erin.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, sorry.
God, Erin Bodina. Basically, she's like, I don't know what she is. I don't know, like maybe like an influencer / has been a video vixen or whatever. She's just this like random chick who's like, I think originally from Wales or something. And
Is she Arab?
no, she's like
Sorry, is this the girl that was in
some
the video
sort
that you
of
sent me
Eastern
yesterday?
European. Yes.
Okay, continue.
So there was, I don't know what she was doing, but there was like, I don't know.
Tell the backstory. Erin, years ago, allegedly was accused of getting flued out to Dubai and then got shat on or pissed on and stuff like that. So, and it went viral or whatever. So then for a while, did she go low key for a little bit?
I have no idea.
So anyway, so she's back and she addressed some of the rumors and shit, and she was like, "Nah, that wasn't the case. No one ever shat on me or no one pissed on me, blah blah blah, whatever." Anyway, so she was part of this. There's like a channel on YouTube, yeah, where they ask people to sit on the hot seat, and then they ask you different questions, and you got to guess who it is out of the people that you're with in that room that it sort of like it matches up to you. So, for example, the clip that went viral with Erin was that the question was, what's the one thing about your personality that you would want to change, yeah, or like something that you don't like about your personality. So people wrote different things on like different pieces of papers, and it got put into like a little box, and then she has to open up the box and figure out who belongs to who, yeah. And then she opened a piece of paper and it said anger. So then she looked at the black girl, the only black girl on that panel, and she said, "Oh, I feel like it would be you." And the girl's like, "What? Like, why would you think it was me?" And she was like, "I don't know. You just seem like someone that would be angry." So she picked out everyone, blah blah blah, whatever. And even though she was right with everyone's decisions, everybody was sort of like coming for her and dragging her for like kind of making that assumption about someone without actually knowing who they are and like basing it off of absolutely nothing.
Wasn't that the whole point of the video? Though?
She just got no. The point of the video was to kind of base your opinions off of what you think. Yeah. So she went straight to the black girl stereotype of being an angry black woman. Yeah. Or the stereotype, because Annie, up until that point, Annie didn't display any sort of signs of anger or like any sort of signs that she could be like an angry person. So she was kind of like, well, why me? Why would you pick me? Sort of thing. Like, why would I be the person that you would think that would be a very angry person, basing it off of absolutely nothing? Like, it was really, really weird. So everybody was sort of dragging her for it, because it was like, you're basing it off of stereotypes, you're basing it off of like racial profiling and shit like that. So then, so I was just wondering, what do you guys think about stuff like that? Because I don't think it was conscious. Personally, I don't think it was like a conscious bias. I think it was kind of just like, I think she just thought like, oh, this girl seems quite feisty. But at the same time, it's like, why is it that always black girls are always, whenever we display any sort of level of passion in the way that we speak, or in the way that we move, in the way that we operate, in the way that we navigate through society, it's always being perceived as aggressive, angry, bossy, a bitch. Yeah. Whereas if it was a white woman, it's always, oh, she's powerful, or she's, she's stern, or she knows what she wants. She's a boss woman. She's assertive. Yeah. So it's like it's like it's double standards in how things are perceived. But at the same time, I don't think with Erin, I don't think it was. I don't think she did it out of like being racist or anything like that. I think it was just purely based off of, I just see you as being someone that's quite feisty, or like you can hold your own sort of thing. So I don't imagine you being like a soft girl, because Annie doesn't come across as being like a really soft, mesquite girl anyways, like from the moment you meet her. But I wanted to get you lot's opinion. Do you think people are becoming like too sensitive over stuff like this, or do you think it's like it's warranted the anger?
Go on, Reem.
I think.
Why are you shook for, Sana?
I'm not shook. I'm just waiting for him.
I think from that clip in particular, what happened, I think, from what I saw, was that she'd given something else to another girl, and was her name Annie, did you say?
Yeah, Annie, and she's a YouTuber.
And she responded to it, and then I think she saw the angry one and then gave it to her and said, I think she said because of how she reacted or something from that.
I don't know, fam.
Anyway, so I just thought it was a little bit like, the clip I had seen had been taken out of context, because it was just the clip. It wasn't anything else. So hearing a backstory makes it a little bit different, because in that you will offend people.
The point of the show is to like make assumptions about people based off of
that's what I'm saying.
Impressions.
So I think on that sense, it's like, I don't know, but I do think that the way I saw the clip initially, I was like, nah, I was like, that's not cool. She needs to really watch what she's saying, and like, why would you assume that? And everyone in the comments was like, she's cancelled, unconscious bias, and which to some degree, I think we all have unconscious bias, and I think we're not perfect. None of us would be able to sit and not be able and do things perfectly. We're not perfect human beings. But I do think that the point of that is that people are going to be offended, and that there will be certain things that are said about you that you won't like. For instance, like, I don't know, like Love Island, when Molly heard that what people were saying about her outside or whatever, and it's all these assumptions. As soon as assumptions are said, you will get offended, because because what happens is people make assumptions based on not knowing you. So that is when the unconscious bias and all of that comes into play. Not that it justifies it, it's nasty behaviour, but it's like, we should really be checking, why are we doing this, and what is it trying to highlight? That's my opinion. But I do agree with what you're saying about double standards 100%, because I see it happen all the time, where someone of a different race, or someone who's white, or I don't know, light skin or whatever, is seen as a boss bitch. Do you know what I mean? And then someone else is seen like, Shanna? I
think based on that video itself, if we're just purely speaking about that video, it's like you said, it's a video that it's a video based on making assumptions of people that you've never met. So you're talking to strangers and you're guessing who's who and who said what. The fact that what I want to ask you is, if she had said, oh, I think it might be X that said anger or whatever the thing was, and then changed her mind and said, no, actually I think it might be you, the black girl, I don't know her name, sorry, would that have made it any better? Is it just the fact that she went straight to the black girl that makes it offensive?
I think it's just the label thing. So whether she, I think it makes it worse that it was the first thing that she had assumed, the first person that she'd assumed would be angry would be the black girl. I think that's what made it worse. But I think it's just about the label of it. So even if she chose the black girl last or like third or second, whatever it was, it would still be like, why would you assume that word to a black girl? Like, so I think people naturally have their backs up against the wall, or like naturally have a guard up when it comes to like this, because it's such a sensitive topic. So there's no real right answer. But I think it's just her being labelled as that when she could have been labelled as anything other than that. So she chose. I don't know. It's just her with that. So whether she was second or third, but I think it's just because she chose her first, and straight off the bat she was like, yeah, definitely you. And she'd never met her before, and she didn't know who she was, and she'd never ever displayed any sort of signs of anger. That's what made it worse. So even if she did it second or third or whatever, I think it would still be quite bad.
I think there is something about how fast like it was, actually, Sana.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a tricky one, because like we said, the video that's the point of the video. You're meant to make assumptions, and we're forgetting the fact that the girl, I don't know what this girl's name is, the black girl, but she did say, if I wanted to change something about myself, it would be my anger. So the girl is not, what's her name, Erin, didn't get it wrong. So we're basically criticizing her for doing the video right and getting it right, if that makes sense. Like for me, it's like a catch-22.
It's not that, babe. It's not that. It's the point. The point is, why would you assume that about Annie when there were 3 other people on the panel? Why would you assume that anger would be associated to Annie? Like, why? What's your point? And she goes, I just think that that's what you would do. Or like how Reem says, she goes, just because of how your reaction, I think that anger would be. And it's just a weird one. It was just like, it wasn't like, if it was based on for your first impressions of someone, I wouldn't have picked Annie. If I didn't know,
I would have gone for a man. Yeah, only because of my assumptions.
But there was also a black dude that was there as well. So she'd gone for the black dude that was there too. It would have been problematic. Yeah, so
it would have been problematic either way. Innit? That's what I'm saying. It's a tricky situation, and I don't think we can have this discussion based on that clip itself. Like, of course, there is a bigger discussion, and it's a huge problem to make assumptions, and unconscious bias and all that stuff is a big discussion. But we can't base it on that clip alone, because it's a bit of a tricky one.
I think there are so many ways so many things that people can do to avoid being seen as being discriminatory or to have an opinion about someone based on. I think there's so many things that you could do. I think if I was in that situation and there was something that could possibly be taken in the wrong way, or I could be racially stereotyping somebody based on my comments and stuff like that, I would always come with a disclaimer, or I would always say, oh, this is gonna sound so bad because obviously like just make it clear that you're conscious of what you're saying and how it might come across, and that's not your intention, and then say what you want to say.
Yeah, but I don't think people think about these things ahead of time.
Like address it, but it's like you shouldn't open your mouth and to speak. Then the ones where it's just like it's not by force for you to open your mouth and speak. Like, know that you're going to be put on a show where it's controversial. You're going to be put on a platform where it's going to be controversial, so you need to be aware of the things that you say.
But so many people don't have that awareness, which is why we have so many problems.
But it's been a conversation that's been had. Like, I don't agree. I don't take. I didn't know as a good enough excuse, because it's been going on so much. People have done so much, especially in 2019, to fight for these kind of rhetorics to be erased from TV, from mainstream media, from everything. So it baffles me that you wouldn't be aware. Of course you're aware of this.
I don't think it's that easy, Shams. I think you are.
You don't think what?
I don't think it's that easy to simplify it in that way, because for me, you and Reem, maybe there's no reason for us to be ignorant about these things, but in most cases, people that are not surrounded by the same people that we're surrounded by, people that are not like as connected to social media and all the debates that happen on there and stuff like that, the average Joe really wouldn't know about these things.
Okay, maybe not the average Joe, but we're talking about Erin in particular, yeah? Erin with her lip fillers, and she's not average Joe. Erin with her lip fillers, and she's a social media influencer and talking like da, 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 da. Everyone's taking a lot from black culture. You're telling me so now when it's time to be a real nigger, you don't want to be about it? Nah, fuck off. Sorry, you know the ones. I can't deal. So Reem's laughing bare. Do you know what it means? Do you know what I mean? This is what I'm going to start doing. There was even...
I didn't realise you were going to go there that fast.
No. I just can't be asked.
Oh, no. Did she go like this? She went like that, innit? Yeah,
she goes,
clicked her
"Oh, you're
finger.
so." She did this whole
that
neck
was
and
it.
sassy thing.
Yeah, that was it for me. I said, do you
What
know
did she
what?
do?
You can make an assumption, but then she goes, I can feel you go. You know that like, girl, like, are you okay? Like, that's so 1980. Like, get over it.
No one
like,
does that no more,
relax.
fam.
That's what like flipping Uncle Tyler Perry in his old films from early 2000s was
Yeah, it's
doing.
long. It's long. All these.
She
you know,
did
there was
that.
there
That's
was
what it
another episode, yeah,
was.
this girl called Zizi. She must have been the one that was doing it.
Zizi Mills.
Zizi Mills. So she was on one of them
I
as well.
appreciate
yeah.
her.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Interesting. So she was on one of them, and there was like four of the people on the panel, and one of the girls, she was this white girl, and she had like a multicolored wig on, and she had like the long nails, and she had hoop earrings on, and she was just doing the most. Even the way that she was speaking, she was like, you know, the hand gestures, yeah, that stereotypically are associated to black women, yeah. So then the girl was asked, guess people's names, yeah. What do you think people are called? So there were, of the two girls, there were two female names, yeah, Lily and Dominique, yeah. And then she goes, I think you're called Lily, to the white girl with the wig, yeah. And the girl goes, why not Dominique? And she goes, I think you would like to be called Dominique.
I'm dead.
But you know the ones where it's like, call their bullshit out straight away. Do it by force. It's like, I'm not gonna allow you to feel like you can take up this space and no one's gonna call you out for your bullshit. If you really, really want to be black, take it on. See what it's actually like to be black on a regular basis. Fuck off. Sorry, stuff like that really, really annoys me. So I don't think Erin. This is what I think. Erin with her fucking lip fillers, trying to get bigger lips and shit, and like fucking butt implants and her. No, fuck off. Like you definitely know. You are so aware. You probably date black guys on a regular. So it's like fuck off. Sorry, that's just my personal opinion. I think people are aware of these things. I don't take it as an excuse. Obviously, everyone to their, you treat each case on an individual basis, and not everybody of course would be aware of these things, but the vast majority of people are very, very aware. So I don't take the whole I didn't know that this was an issue, I wasn't aware. I don't take that as a good enough excuse.
Once I remember the clicking, once I remembered that she clicked and was like that's when I was like, yeah, nah, that's very inexcusable.
Yeah, it was jarring, but I also don't think she did it on purpose.
No,
even having said all that, I don't think she actually did it on purpose. I don't think she was doing it in a way where she was trying to be mean, or I just think she just was using a racial stereotype. I don't think she was doing it in a horrible way at all. It was just one of them ones where she's just an ignorant prick. Like that's who she is. She's just a bimbo influencer. Sorry, done. I'm actually very, very angry right now. Thanks for bringing it up.
sorry.
On that note, Fajr has sparked up the shisha, so I'm gonna end it here, to be honest.
Okay, but can people just say like one thing they're looking forward to like very soon?
I'm looking forward to my birthday in November.
You already had your
I'm gonna be
birthday.
27, inshallah, and I'm excited.
That's true. Her other birthday.
My other one, my fake birthday
It's
in
lit.
November. Yeah, I'm looking forward to my birthday. I'm looking forward to starting a new job, inshallah. I'm excited. It's very exciting.
Exciting indeed.
Very, very exciting. So I can't wait for that. What else can't I wait for? So far, yeah, that's all I can't wait for. I also can't wait to go shopping and buy new autumn stuff, man. Wow. Gas.
Wow.
Go on. Anybody else?
What about you, Sheena?
I'm looking forward to going on camping trips now that the weather's getting better, and now that we have a car. We're gonna do a lot more trips and stuff and vlog it all. This week actually we went to the desert and vlogged it, and Fajr took me to these weird sculptures in the desert. So we're gonna do a lot more of that. That's what I'm looking forward to. What are you looking forward to, Reem?
Everyone keep posted on the YouTube. I am looking forward to interesting. Actually, I have my first hijama session on Saturday.
Ooh.
I'm gonna wear my first hijab on Saturday.
That's what.
No.
That's what I
Do you
thought.
know what? My mum told me I wore hijab in year 5, and then I took it off because I got bullied.
Aww.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't remember it. Blocked it out. Anyway, yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to my first session of hijama on Saturday. Me and my mum are going for a joint session. I think it'll be very sweet.
Sick.
This
Let us
Saturday?
know how it
Yeah.
goes.
In the morning.
I want to try that.
me too. I will definitely let everyone know. I have a little review on Sunday. I'll tell everyone how I'm doing.
Yeah, buddy.
But yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening. It has always been it's been a pleasure as always, even. And you can find us on the YouTube at £3.30, the Instagram at £3.30, Twitter at £3.30, being a 3. We are on Spotify. We are on a podcast app. We're on every platform other than SoundCloud. And you can find Asha on
Asha every day.
and Sana on
Sana no double I.
And Sana Uqba.
I love how you always plug
buy
that
her
one.
book if you haven't.
Always, fam.
We love and appreciate you guys, and
Bye. Bye.
Bye, guys.